We've heard so many beautiful voices today, and it gives me this sense of warmth within a community. Now, a community is held together by a strong adhesive, a common adhesive. Some might call it a universal language. That universal language is so crucially important. It can be something as grand as a shared ideal or religion, but as small and seemingly minuscule as a shared love or hobby. For me, that universal language has been music. And it's a powerful universal language because, paradoxically, it's not a language. I'll show you what I mean. Have you ever seen the frenzy that is a few musicians so concentrated and so delved within the jam session? No words are spoken. A few glances are thrown here and there, but that's it. And voila, they play in perfect harmony. You can hear the strength and the dynamic behind each note, but that's not even what makes the music beautiful. It's the interwoven layers of instrument, of music, of melodies, one on top of another. And if you just hear close enough, you can find every musician's little quirks and their little styles. I find that to be the perfect metaphor for community. Afar, we are one, but close up, we are many. Me and a friend of mine started our own concert project a little over a year ago, and the entire idea was to diverge from the traditional concert and to build a sense of community. What does that mean, you might ask? Great question. When a band comes on stage, we cheer. Not because the band is famous, not because we're their parents, not even because we're their friends, but because we are genuinely curious what sort of melodies they might cook up. When a band plays, we dance and we sing along because we are genuinely enthusiastic about the music that they make. When the band pauses, we banter with the band because we are genuinely curious who they are. And eventually, when the band finishes playing, they don't leave. They join the audience and they become genuinely curious. We humans are social animals, and as much as some of us can praise adaptability and individuality, we need to feel a sense of belonging and familiarity. It's that feeling of going home, lying slumped on the couch, and then seeing familiar sights, smelling familiar smells, hearing familiar sounds. And that comfort doesn't impede social change. In fact, I've seen so many youth, so many musicians empowered by that sense of community, feeling valued and feeling understood. They began taking more risks. They began exploring. In seeking that human worth that comes from companionship, that warmth, you abandon your hermit-like shell. Remember, social animals. Without that warmth, you will need the protection of your spiky shell. Sometimes modern perception likes to say otherwise. We'd like to think of the social innovator or the entrepreneur as somebody who stands against the mainstream and in front of the mainstream. Because we like that idea of that individual hero. We all want to be that one person. But the truth is, there are no such one person. And are the people who think this way, who strive to achieve this perspective of that one hero, who can't stand any other perspective other than their own, who cannot hang out with anybody else who share the same ideals as them. And when you find yourself amidst a group that you have to agree with to fit in, you've not found belonging. You found conformity. You found a social cage. We like the idea of the hero's journey, the monomyth. All of the stories of all of the myths are in that format. But one look, one glance at the people sitting around you, around the campfire, waiting for that story, will tell you otherwise. It's not that one person that empowers the group. It is the group, the culture, that empowers the myth. And I don't speak a fairy tale. So many social innovators and entrepreneurs today think of solving a problem. They're so eager. They thrive to solve that one problem that they have. The truth is, no one ever solves a problem. They contribute. And through the contribution of hundreds, thousands, or even millions, a problem is solved. Remember that image of the interwoven web of music? The power of a community is that it knits the individual skills, the individual techniques of each and every single person into one single magnificent burst of energy. Only then you can solve. But as a member of the community, you don't say that. We solve, you say. And you learn to say that with pride. Thank you.